What is consciousness? Well, that is quite the loaded question, but in the simplest terms, it can be described as the awareness of self in space and time. For example, as you sit there watching this video, you are aware of having this experience, but both the chair you are sitting on and the device that you are using are not aware of having this experience. Some suggest that consciousness may just be our brain's way to create a cut-corner description of what it means to process information. Now, where exactly did consciousness come from? It's very likely that consciousness developed from less complex forms of life and through natural selection became integral to modern life through a few steps. Number 1, the need for movement driven by search for food and energy sources. Number 2, the development of vision and context for purposeful and informed navigation of our world. Number 3, memory and object permanence allowing a much deeper understanding of the world even when objects or food are out of the sensory range. 4, the ability to sympathize and be aware of consciousness of others to predict what others may do or think. Many early philosophers each had their own interpretation of what consciousness was. As Rene Descartes famously said, "I think, therefore I am." John Locke believed that consciousness was independent of all substances and not connected to any particular body or mind. William James thought it was like a stream, an unbroken and continuous flow with constant shifts and changes. Regardless of their position, one major problem was the mind-body problem. How are our minds related to our body? Are they one and the same, or can one even exist without the other? As time went on, new modern neurobiological theories of consciousness formed. The global neuronal workspace. Consciousness is when content is globally available for different processes through a shared neuronal workspace. The recurrent processing theory. Recurrent processing and interconnectedness in sensory areas are necessary for consciousness. High-order theory. The presence of the high-order state of being aware of the senses is required. Information integration theory. The integration of information is necessary for a state to be conscious. Scientists have also developed three major modern studies applicable to consciousness. 1. Developmental psychology, which suggests that there are changes to consciousness over time in quality and degree. For example, a 10-year-old's consciousness will be less developed than a 15-year-old or an adult. Social psychology, which suggests consciousness is a product of cultural influence that has little to do with the individual. For example, a person raised in China would have a different consciousness than someone raised in America. Neuropsychology, which suggests consciousness is ingrained in neural systems and organic brain structures. Neurocorrelates of consciousness, or NCC, are the relationships between the subject's experience and brain activity. These are measured by EEGs and fMRIs. The debate of exactly where consciousness is located has been a long-standing one, and to be honest, we still don't really know. Most scientists are split between the prefrontal cortex and the posterior cortex. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for higher functions, known as executive functions, and therefore seems highly promising. The posterior cortex, on the other hand, generates sight, sound, etc. When a surgeon removes a piece of this, it can lead to a loss of entire classes of conscious content, like facial recognition, color, or space. Consciousness is an intricate topic and one that we still have yet to figure out. As new technologies develop and as curious scientists research and run experiments, more can be discovered. Perhaps the next groundbreaking discovery about consciousness could be done by the person watching this video right now.